Before I get cancelled on YouTube,
People are a little price conscious.
she literally gets her needle and thread. तुम्हारे कपड़े फट गए.
$600 or a $700 lehenga isn't too much.
This is our Monday morning conversation. Every week, I was having a panic attack. I was like, what the hell is going on?
It was very organic. So that's how we first got to know about Warehouse.
If I'm counting the zeros correctly, 9 figures, 8 figures.
Too much faded or ripped apart jeans.
From Bollywood or Hollywood, that's on your wish list to seeing wearing Kalista someday.
I think Deepika Padukone, vibrant and comfort. Reach out to a wider sector of people who come to the event for the A-listers. I think Hrithik Roshan is pretty cool. Has a very classy vibe to him.
You can't repeat the same outfit in the same day.
Yeah, of course.
If you could swap wardrobes with any Bollywood celeb for a week, who would it be?
Interesting.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of That's So Mudita, where we love talking about stories, journeys, visions that shape some of the most inspiring names in the fashion industry. These are voices who bring fresh ideas, push boundaries, and set new trends and new standards in fashion. Today we are joined with a very special guest who blends traditional Indian craftsmanship and contemporary flair. Someone who has defined bridal couture for over a decade. Mr. Pratyush Guglani from Kalista. Thank you so much, Pratyush. It's been so nice to have you here.
Thank you so much, Mudita. It's lovely to be with you. And it's lovely to be at your setup. You are such a gracious host. And looking forward to this conversation with you.
So Pratyush, funny story, how I first found out about your brand is when we had someone here from an e-com site, and she showed me the numbers you guys are doing. I mean, if I'm counting the zeros correctly, 9 figures, 8 figures. That's crazy. How? Like, when did this start?
Yeah, so I mean that's quite a fun fact. But this was, I think, 3 years back, just after COVID. So COVID was like a pivotal moment for us, whereby we totally changed our brand strategy, and we kind of really shifted our focus to online platforms. And platforms like Aza, Purnia, Ashni, Ilahi, all these kind of portals we were kind of working earlier also. But as a brand point of view, we started really to focus on photo shoots regularly, and try to hit a sweet price point that the customer likes, and a product that the customer is way more acceptable on an online sphere. Because we realized that there is a certain limitation to which we could grow in the stores at that time. So we kind of really put in a lot of effort for 1 or 2 years, and then I think the numbers started to show that time. So thankful for that.
But you know what was interesting for me to note, that considering fashion is more of a tactile market,
yeah,
you on the contrary shifted your strategy more towards e-com.
Yeah, so it was just that we were adapting with the situation.
Of course.
So the COVID time was very volatile. There was so much of uncertainty into how are things going to be, how's the market, it's going to be more offline, it's going to be more online, but we were strategizing, so taking it step by step and trying to find a path of our own.
I think for all of our businesses, we didn't have a choice, but we had to have an omni-channel approach.
Yeah.
You couldn't ignore one for the other.
Definitely.
And I think that was my major learning coming out of COVID, that one can't be blindsided for any channel.
Definitely.
So tell me something. You grew up around textiles.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, it's very interesting. My mom and dad have been into this business for the last 35 years now. And they started a printing factory way back in 1990. And I was a small child then, and like when I was in school, like 1st or 2nd grade, my mom used to take me to like the factory with her. And then I always kind of grew up in a scenario wherein there was so much of colors and prints. So at that point in time, there was block printing that we used to do in the Noida factory. Then we shifted to screen printing. Screen printing had this, it was quite labor intensive, and we had 22 meters tables in which the screens used to be operated by 2 people, 1 from each side. So it's very interesting. I grew up in that setup, and then I was focused very much into academics and how things panned out. Fun fact, I went to St. Stephen's College. I did physics honors, very different to what I'm doing, right now. And I was very, inclined to the science sphere as well. And then I got recruited by a consultancy firm wherein I worked for 3 years. And then I, thought that, let's explore, what we are doing, in our setup. Then we basically had a export unit. We used to export outfits to brands like Topshop and River Island, those kind of brands in the UK, and so that's how I got to learn about fashion hands-on, to see prints hands-on, to see what kind of embroideries, and Kalista happened as a matter of chance. It's a very funny story that we didn't plan that we have to start a brand. It was just that we were into, at that point in time in 2014, we set up from a conventional printing techniques like block printing to screen printing. We set up a digital printing facility in a factory, and then we were doing work for a lot of job workers. So we were doing different kind of, like for Good Earth, we were printing all kind of textiles, like their cushion covers and everything. Even TT, Tarun Talani, we used to print quite a lot of outfits at that time. So I used to feel very, very fascinated that very interesting outfits. So that's where the urge
came in,
that's where the thought came that, of course, I'm seeing so many interesting things happening, and why not to kind of do a pop-up line. And it was just that over a period of a few months, I think 20, 25, 30 samples we made just out of interest, with no mindset that we want, because we were in export line that time. That was a decently well running business. We didn't want to kind of shift, but as things had it in 2018-19, there was like a recession worldwide, and the advances that we used to get for our export orders, those kind of slowed down and everything. So we kind of thought that, okay, let's explore this. Then we did a couple of exhibitions, and God willing, everything was kind of sold out. And we really got the customer feedback hands-on, that people are very receptive to it. They are liking the product a lot. And 2-3 exhibitions we did. Thereafter we booked a few more, and that was the starting point. And then there was no looking back in terms of we realized that there was a lot of potential in the market, that we had the infrastructure to cater to. And then I think in 2015 we kind of strategized as per so we opened a couple of stores, and then started to build from there step by step.
I agree. What a wonderful journey, Pratyush.
I was very organic.
Wood. Yeah, of course, I can imagine. Now, coming back to Stephen, one thing that I genuinely feel is that even if one's been in a different line, but with Stephen's, with physics, you must have learned so much discipline, which you must be incorporating.
Definitely. I think in today's industry, you need to be very focused and disciplined.
Of course.
Because if you're not, there are 10 other brands, or there are 10 other people who would be probably much more than you, and it's the survival of the fittest.
More than that, a lot of people think that fashion is really glamorous, it's fun, but it's a lot of hard work.
It's a lot of hard work.
And if you're disciplined, it helps.
Definitely, you need to be disciplined, and that's a trait that I think I've learned from my mother.
Of course.
That she has always been very passionate, very disciplined. So I've always seen her being very focused. So I think I had the opportunity to kind of imbibe some of those values.
Oh, I'm sure, because for us it's about showing up, it's about responsibility, about accountability, and for example, with regards to even the amount of trust that you all place in us, we can't just be like, we can't just be on this cloud 9 all the time, that we've put together, we're answerable to you guys at the end of the day, right? And that's what gets us from season to season. So when you started Kalista, what was the vision that you had in mind?
So as I told you briefly earlier, there was no vision because it was a very organic start. We didn't we didn't put it that way, that we are starting a company, we are starting a brand, and this is how it's going to be. These are how the milestones are going to be. It was very organic,
right?
And we took it step by step. After doing a couple of years for the product market fit and the exhibitions that we really did earlier, we pivoted to a couple of stores that we opened. We opened a really big one in DLF Promenade as well. which we operated for 3 years. But the pandemic thing,
It was a big setback.
it was a big setback because the sales that used to happen earlier versus the expenses and all that were post pandemic. So we had to do a pivot shift in our strategy as well. So I mean, it's a ever evolving journey.
I don't think we've ever spoken. Pandemic was a huge hit to us as well. We had our show that was scheduled to happen on the 12th of March, the warehouse march that now, and 4 days or 5 days before is when the news started spreading about COVID and that whole group at Hyatt and the other ones who were staying at the Grand and everything. And I remember going to the Grand and in front of us the ambulance stopping, and I was having a panic attack. I was like, what the hell is going on? And we called it off. Then 2 months, and both our businesses are people centric and travel centric. So travel being one part of the business which came at a complete standstill.
Yeah, grinding halt.
And similarly for warehouse also, we had to 5 days prior had to do a hard stop on it, sent everyone's money back and everything, and we let's see when it comes back to life. And then kept thinking, then the idea of pivoting online came about, that we can't keep sitting. I mean, that time everyone went into those 4 a.m. situations of Netflix and binge and this and that, and at some point we're like, no, this has to stop and we have to put a structure back, which is when we launched the website, which did very well for the first 2 years, but I feel the market has switched from e-com, at least for us, to a more tactile market.
Definitely. It's a very interesting combination that, the offline, the store model versus the online. So we also try to keep our best foot forward in both the spheres.
And you have to balance both.
And we have to balance. And also some months, the store model works better, some months the online works better. So you never know. It's just that one has to be very proactive and one has to keep both the options open.
So tell me something, with every new brand, there are wins and challenges, okay? First, let's talk about what were the first 3 challenges that you faced. We've discussed the pandemic. Besides that, what were the first 3 challenges that you took upon yourself that, no, I have to overcome this?
Okay, so first was, in terms of the brand positioning, that what are we exactly, like, are we catering to, pret, or are we catering to bridesmaids, or are we a print-centric brand, or are we doing embroideries as well? So firstly, getting, our brand perception right is something that we had to kind of, work on. And it's not that I'm saying that we have cracked it or anything. It's a evolving journey.
It is.
Brand's perception and what we exactly need to be doing, in terms of our strategy, product wise and brand positioning wise. Second, I would say, finances is a very important part. In fashion, people, as you correctly said, that people perceive it to be very glamorous. But, there is 2 sides of the business, I would say. One is the creative side of it, and one is the actual, the business side of it, in which, your balance sheet and, your expenses and your sales. P&L, basically,
Tell me about
it. So kind of, finding a balance between those 2 and trying to do both sufficiently enough so that you're able to kind of progress.
This is our Monday morning conversation every week. पहले मुझे P&L दिखाओ तब मैं काम start करूँगा.
So वही ever evolving thing, because any decisions that we need to make, any big project that we might need to incur, like a store or probably like something, you have to kind do a structural calculation,
absolutely,
that this is the amount, and it changes from time to time,
of course.
So this is another challenge that we always had to kind of take with us, and it has learned it has made us learn a lot, and it's a ever evolutionary thing.
So you call Kalista affordable luxury. Could you explain that to me a little more?
So we basically, strategy point of view, we try to kind of position our brand as, so we are not into couture. We are like basically catering bridesmaids. We are catering, friends of bride, sisters of bride, and the bride for her functions like Mehndi and Sangeet. So in this genre, in this space, we have realized that again with many, hit and trials, that people are a little price conscious. Unless or until you've really made a big brand name and the people, have a very aspirational value for your brand and pay whatever price, it's another thing. But I'm talking about 70% of the market, that if we think that, if we offer the customer a good price, something which is, of course, I won't say a low price, but yeah, not exorbitantly high as well, then we are able to get much better, customer response on our products. And we are, instead of maybe selling 3 pieces, we sell maybe 8 or 9. So that's our, philosophy. If I also look for buying something, like as a, individual, if I see that, if the product is, nice, and if it's of a good value, then I kind of, tend to be inclined to buy that more versus, very expensive. ROI. So I try to, inculcate the same value that I have into, our prospective customer. That if the customer finds value in us, if they think that a 25,000 rupee anarkali, or maybe if they think that a 60,000 lehenga would be appropriate for, like a bridesmaid or like a sister of bride, and if they think it's, really nice, then, we would want to make more of those.
I'm so happy to hear you say that, because this is something that has really stood out in our research as well, that in India and in Indian weddings, there is one bride, one groom. Okay.
Yeah.
But the bridal party is at the bare minimum, I would say about 250 people, a similar number for the groom's party, and that is where your market lies. Those 500 people of men, women, children is what actually makes your market, and they are the ones who need repeat outfits. Like, for example, I'm married, I've been married for 15, 16 years. I'm not looking at buying a bridal outfit, but I need to buy outfits for myself every season after season. With the sheer number of weddings I'm attending, the circuit remains the same. 3 weddings in one family, 3 weddings in another family, so you can't repeat. That is a genuine problem. I mean, I'm all for sustainability and everything, but guys, the fact is you can't repeat the same outfit in the same day.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it becomes repetitive and it's not very appealing.
Yeah, and you can repeat. I mean, before I get cancelled on YouTube, I could see Vidhi raising her eyebrows. Before I get cancelled, it's like I'll of course repeat in different circles. Okay, but I can't repeat in the same circle. That is, and I feel that is where both of our markets lie, and that is where people are buying. Now, coming to warehouse. Now, we've been working together for 3 years now. 2 years.
I think 3.
What was your first impression of warehouse? Which was your first event at warehouse?
So very interesting. We of course, as you were recommended Kalista through your clients team or whatever, we were also recommended. I was at an exhibition in, I think, Ludhiana, and there were some people I knew, and they were talking that, of course, we have our own group of brands and everything. So people were discussing that, that exhibition was so nice, and that show was so nice. So that's how I got to know. And that's how I got to know, and they were speaking that, this is one show we look forward to. So, I already kind of had it in my, bookmarks that, we have to kind of reach out to you. But before we could, or, you guys, Shania, there was a team member in your team who kind of reached out to us. So it was, I think, meant to be. It was very organic. So that's how we first got to know about Warehouse. And I think the first show we did was in Delhi.
Oh, Delhi was the first, or Hyderabad was the first?
I think Hyderabad. Yeah, Hyderabad in 2022. Yeah. So, Touchwood was a really nice one.
Thank you.
And from there, we got to know that people look to this, show, Warehouse, in terms of getting good deals, in terms of getting, good brands to find. And, we thought that, the potential is really high. We saw it for ourselves in 2-3 shows. And we really be happy to be associated with you. And step by step, we are kind of, obviously looking forward to many, many good shows further as well.
So we've done the whole round. We've done Hyderabad, we've done Kolkata, we've done Delhi, Mumbai. How do you feel this year has been for you with regards to warehouse shows?
Oh, lovely. I would say that, we have built on strengths from year to year. And of course, there is so much of learnings also, how we can do things better, how we can, do cater to the client's needs better. So that's a ever learning process. And I think that a lot of scope is there to be further covered as well in the coming shows. And we're just kind of grateful that we're able to have this platform so that we can reach out to a wider sector of section of people who come to the event to kind of for the A-listers who come to the event to find out to do their chooser shopping, to do the bridesmaid shopping. So to be in a platform like this, it always kind of puts a little impetus to your journey, and it gives you a lot of learnings as well from a behavioral point of view of the clients.
So tell me something, any feedback for us from the 4 cities?
No, I mean, feedback point of view, I mentioned that, Hyderabad, maybe you could do one more show, but of course that's, your call that you don't want to be too, want to make it too saturated. And at the end, I mean, one feedback probably I would have given earlier as well to you is to try out cities like Bangalore, maybe, or like a new cities as well, because like Chennai, we do a few shows in Chennai. Bangalore and Chennai work very well for us. Of course, one show a year, if you guys try, maybe, I mean, partner with good people who are there, who are like the, who like other socialites or whatever, then it might add, because see, Warehouse, I think pan India or even globally as well, you guys have made the brand name that, you stand for I mean, amazing brands that you're featuring. You stand for the customer experience, that they can do so much of cruiser shopping. They can do so much of shopping for their functions on one day and get great deals. So people already probably know that this is your brand. That of course, if they want to get good deals, good brands, that's the show.
Yeah.
So you can leverage it to new cities as well.
Okay.
But again, this is just a suggestion. You have to see your economics.
Yeah.
Obviously, in every city, first time it's a little risk.
It is.
So, I mean...
So for us, I mean, how we had initially, even when we spoke about it, that we zoned ourselves in north, south, east, west. But yes, this is a common suggestion that's coming from a lot of people, especially about Chennai, which was not a city that was on my radar for sure. But I think I might just end up exploring that and even exploring Punjab. So I'm going to get back to you on that. If you had to sum up Kalista style in 3 words, which ones would you pick?
So I would say trendy, vibrant, and comfort.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Do you think any celebrities or influencers wearing your designs actually shape the way people perceive your brand?
Yeah, I think definitely. This is an era of social media. People are, way active on their phone. They kind of see the trends, what's happening and everything. Everybody's kind of, on the Insta feed sometime or the other during the day. So if you have, recognizable faces or figures, wearing your product, either if it's organically or otherwise, then it adds credibility to your product.
Brand awareness.
It adds to brand awareness as well. And plus people get influenced that, of course, why not try it out, try this brand out once.
So which was the first celebrity that you ever dressed?
I think it was Aditi Rao Hydari.
Oh, how nice. She's lovely.
Yeah.
And anyone from Bollywood or Hollywood that's on your wish list to seeing wearing Kalista someday?
I think Deepika Padukone is something I would really want.
I think she actually goes very well with your brand if you think about it. That she's subtle and even she's into not very, loud garments. And I think that is very much Kalista's signature.
So let's hope sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, now India is really having its moment, right now. Even you see the international labels, they're all sort of incorporating India in their brand storytelling and stuff. What is it that excites you most about the current fashion scene?
See, something which really resonates with me is that internationally, the people are recognizing India's craft. The due importance of, the labor, the craftsmanship, fabrics like khadi as well, the indigenous craft. A lot of brands are putting out to the global stage, because of which there is so much of awareness about India's local, craft. So that is really exciting. Also, another thing which is exciting is that the Indian customer is also very, open-minded now. They are open to experiments. They're open to playing with different kind of fabrics and colors and embroideries and everything. So you can play around with things more. So that is something which really keeps us on the hook.
And I think prints are also really having a
Prints are also having a moment, you know. Internationally, you see so many brands, they having their brand recognition with the kind of prints they do. You know, like a Ted Baker, you know that, a certain kind of a floral is like Ted Baker.
Absolutely.
You know, Gucci is probably, doing a certain kind of prints. Even if you see that print, you can, kind of, it's a floral Gucci print.
Yeah.
So, a lot of brand recognition is happening internationally with the prints,
Absolutely.
which kind of, is really interesting for us.
Absolutely.
Which kind of gives us more,
encouraging.
it's encouraging to us to kind of create a niche of our own as well.
Absolutely. So what's the one advice that you would like to give to a young designer who may be watching this podcast?
See, one advice I would want to give to someone who's starting or launching is that business. Fashion has two sides of it. One is the creative and one is the business side to it. So both the things always need to be kind of taken hand in hand.
Need to be balanced.
Also, your brand has to have a certain recall value that a customer should be able to identify with your brand. So don't do too many things. Do the things that you're good at, and try to build on that so that the customer perceives you in a certain way, and your brand recognition builds from there.
And what's the one mistake you think new designers should avoid at all costs?
Not to go with the trends too much. Just because something is trending, then you kind of do this. After a few months something is trending, then you do that. It kind of adds a lot of confusion to the brand.
I think that's great advice. Even for us, there are times when, our advisors and consultants come up with us that this is trending, that is trending. It's very important to stay true to your brand ethos.
Yeah.
I think that's good advice. Okay, now we have a rapid fire round.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go all Kejo, and this is our fun rapid fire segment. Delhi weddings or Mumbai parties? Which one wins on style?
I think Delhi weddings.
Okay. Who's more stylish? Bollywood celebs or Indian influencers?
Bollywood celebs.
Between style and comfort, which one are you secretly loyal to?
Style with comfort.
Okay. If you could live in any decade purely for its fashion, which would it be? 70s, 80s, 90s or 2000s?
70s. I think a lot of cool things were over there.
For me, it's 1920.
Oh.
That great Gatsby era
Okay.
and stuff. I think I love that fashion. But yeah, sorry, which one did you say?
1970s.
Yeah, very cool time. If you could swap wardrobes with any Bollywood celeb for a week, who would it be?
Interesting.
Ranveer?
Yeah, I think his fashion thing is a little loud for me. But I think, Hrithik Roshan is pretty cool.
Yeah, of course.
He's
very elegant.
Very elegant. He kind of, has a very classy vibe to him.
Absolutely. Sari or Lehenga, what do you think has more scope for innovation?
I think sari.
I agree. Fashion critics or Instagram comments? Who's harsher?
I think fashion critics, because Instagram commenters there are endless, and a lot of random people are there. But if someone of repute from a fashion critique background comments something which kind of of course hits you, then that's something to be taken more seriously.
I agree. Lastly, one fashion trend you wish would just disappear forever.
I think too much faded or ripped apart jeans is something which I think I've had enough of, and also skinny kind of stuff. Is something which doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's personal choice, but yeah.
I agree. If you could cancel, what happens with me, in fact, when I wear ripped jeans to my mom's house, she literally gets her needle and thread. Tumhare kapde phat gaye.
Yeah.
So literally that happens with me.
I
But I
had
hear
a
you.
moment like a decade back or something, 8 years back, when, it was new and something cool and everything.
No, completely. I completely agree with you. If you could cancel one fashion rule forever, what would it be?
I think too much coordination with one another.
I sort of agree with it, but sometimes like with that whole monotone.
Yeah.
But yeah. Would you rather be overdressed at a brunch or underdressed at a wedding?
Overdressed at a brunch.
Completely agree. So that's about it, Pratyush. Thank you so much for
Lovely.
being here with us. It's been an absolute pleasure. It was a fun chat.
Definitely.
It was just as we were talking earlier that how we usually catch up at events.
I was a little skeptic, because the first time I'm kind of doing a thing with like a conversation, which is kind of, with the camera. So I was a little nervous. Not nervous, but I was like, what if I fumble?
No.
What if I need to, we need to have a few retakes here and there.
No.
It was very organic. It was very, like a normal conversation, very flowy, and a lot of insightful conversation. A lot of things that I learned from you, which
No,
was
but we usually catch up.
Yeah.
During all events, we
Yeah.
take feedback, and you've been, you and Kritika are always so kind and humble to give us genuine feedback and appreciation and criticism when necessary.
so nice. We are so
Thank
grateful
you so
for
much.
that.